Hi, I'm Dr. Darren Schmidt at the Nutritional Healing Center of Ann Arbor, and I'm going to talk about homeopathy right now, what it is, and why it's important for you to know what it is. So, it's been actually described by Hippocrates, the father of medicine, like 2,500 years ago, and I don't think he invented it or discovered it. I think it was done before that, and he just took note of it and wrote it down. And Hippocrates is the father of medicine. So, here's how I had a friend a long time ago. He was allergic to his cat, so I told him how to make a homeopathic preparation of the cat's hair, and he did it, and his allergy to his cat went away. So here's how you do this. This is a test tube with 10 milliliters of distilled water, and here's the cat hair. So you shake it up, and in homeopathy they call it succussing, and then you take 1 milliliter of that water, and you put it in the next test tube, which is filled with 9 milliliters of water. Now you fill it up to 10 milliliters, and you shake that up, and then you dilute that again into another test tube that has 9 milliliters of water, so you're adding another 1 milliliter to this. You shake it up, and you just keep repeating that. Every time you repeat that, it's measured as, here's 1x, 2x, 3x. So you can go to 50x or 200x, and that's how they used to make homeopathic preparations. And now you can do it actually with computers, and you don't have to do all the succussing and the dilution. So he did this, and he drank the water, and he said his allergy to his cat went away. And that was before I started in practice. And then in my first year of using nutrition in practice, I had a guy come in. He had a job where he was spraying trees with poisonous chemicals. And at the end of the day, he was underneath his truck, and he was opening up one of the containers, and the pesticide fell into his face, and he was scared about that, so he went to his medical doctor, who did a blood test, and he came to me and he showed me the results of the blood test, and everything was normal, and the MD wrote everything's fine and wrote a smiley face on the blood test. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You had poisons fall in your face, and let's find out what happens, or what happened to your body. So I did the testing that we do, and I found that he had some chemical, obviously, and I gave him a homeopathic remedy for chemical poisoning. And he came back a week later, and he needed it, and he was like, I know I need that. And I asked him, well, how do you know you need it? He goes, because my first sip, my right eye started watering, and I couldn't stop it for like 10 minutes. And that was the eye that got most of the chemicals in it. So he was sold, and I was sold, and I've been using homeopathy ever since. If you ever have somebody say, well, homeopathy doesn't work, or it's bunk, or whatever, just know that that person never helped anybody with homeopathy before, and once you do it, you know that it works. So now, our medical system historically was homeopathic, and so I think it was like the early 1900s, like 1910, somewhere around in there, and there were hospitals and places where homeopathic remedies were made and then proven. Now, proven is actually a clinical term where they would give people the remedy who didn't have the problem. So in this case, if I were to drink this liquid and I didn't have any cat allergy, I would drink the liquid and I would start having a runny nose and sneezing and red eyes, watery eyes because of the cat allergy. So the homeopathic remedy actually caused the symptoms that it addresses in the people who have the problem. And the proving was done for decades and decades by the highest professionals, and all those documents, they're available. You can buy books that have the proofs in them, and there's a library in Cincinnati called the Lloyd Library, and that has historical documents in there where these wise people for years and years would do the proving of the homeopathic remedies. So now this whole homeopathic scenario follows the natural laws of how to get somebody well, and it means similar energies treat the similar symptoms. And here's how it works. Let me just give you this analogy. So pretend you're sitting in a cabin all by yourself, and you're sitting quietly inside, and there's these little teeny tiny mosquitoes that are biting your skin, and you don't know it because they're so small. So it goes on for a half hour, and your body's reacting, but you don't really get the cause. You're not understanding that there's mosquitoes. And then this big giant mosquito comes in, and it stabs you, and it kind of wakes you up like, oh my gosh, that's a big mosquito and it's causing harm. And then you say, oh wait, all these little mosquitoes are the same thing, just a different size. Let me take care of these the mosquitoes. So now you're awake. Your body is awake to the problem. And so the homeopathic remedy is kind of saying like this, like, hey body, wake up, you have mosquitoes, or wake up, you have a fungus, or you have a chemical toxin. Or some homeopathic remedies are reminding your body, hey, you have good stuff that you need to take care, you need to use. Like you have vitamin C, wake up and use the vitamin C. So that's homeopathy, and it's unfortunate that it's been squashed like it has for over 100 years, because it's an absolutely fantastic tool, and it moves nutrients around. You can have nutrients sitting in your body and just not, your body's not aware of it. It's not, being used. And you use this and it kind of wakes up your body and nutrients start working. So there's homeopathy, and it's hard to miss with this. It's hard to not use it correctly because the books are there. If you got poison ivy or something like that, there's homeopathic remedies that work really well for that, etc., all down the line. There's all kinds of great tools you can use in this field of study. So use them.